So do you believe the price of oil and gas will be lower before the midterm elections?
I hope so. I mean, I think so. It could be. It could be or the same or maybe a little bit higher. But it should be around the same, maybe a little bit higher. But it should be around the same.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the myriad of bull jive America has been dealing with. That man could give two horses poops about the price of gas. And y'all thought he was really going to be in here to help America. He hasn't done nothing. In this video, we're going to talk about the most salacious, hottest story going on last week. Why the hell did Melania Trump call her own press conference to deny any knowing of Epstein? Didn't tell Trump about it. And when you see something like that, you got to know something must be about to drop. We're going to cover that. We're going to cover how crooked Trump is with this insider trading and the war. We've got that coming to you. And we're going to also have rebuttal from one of the survivors. All that. We getting started right now.
I'm up early for the dealers come out. Everybody is outside till the killers come out. You ain't eating, you just act full. I'm impactful. Dozen funerals in a month. I got that full. I will give it to niggas in all rap forms. Ignatius out right now on all platforms.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. You are in the building with me, Lamont Tyson. Politics of Being Black, full live stream show. Please be sure to subscribe. If you're one of the people who are into stocks like I do, day trading, this is my new channel where I am live streaming every single day at 9:30. And if you've caught me any of the last 3 weeks, you haven't seen me lose a trade, not once. And so you can come in there, you can kind of see how I do it. You can learn what I'm doing, how I do it. And if you want to get a one-on-one for my system, there it is right there. Hit the link, Calendly, Lamont Tyson, get a one-on-one. I can tell you I'm cheaper than these gurus that are making millions. Better get me before I hit my first million. And folks, we have a special guest. By special request, no doubt. The living legend is in the building. It's Larry. He's in the building. What's going on, Larry?
Oh, man, just chilling. How are you? Sorry I'm late, man. I have not one good excuse. I was up there playing Uncharted on, I don't have a PS system, and so I didn't get to play Uncharted back in the day, but they have the PC version now, and I have a little handheld gaming PC, PC gaming handheld, and so I was playing it, and I got caught up. I looked at the clock, and I was like, "Oh, damn, it's 9:06."
Which one are you playing? The first one, the second one, the third one, or the fourth one?
The fourth one, yeah.
Oh man, they
have
you got to go back and play.
one other one.
You got to go back and start from the beginning. Man, that is one of my favorite PlayStation games. Let me tell you my favorite PlayStation games, ladies and gentlemen. Indulge me for a minute. Uncharted, Dead Space is an amazing, space horror game. Of course, God of War is top on the list. GoldenEye 007, amazing game. Split Second, a race game made by Disney, just amazing. Hulk, the movie, video game was yes, amazing. Wolverine Origin was amazing. So anybody that didn't know, I am a former professional gamer. I won a Mustang playing Madden back in the day, and then one of my homeboys veered me off from playing the sports games into playing like these games that I'm mentioning here with Larry. That is still a part of me, but right now, Larry, there's too much shit going on in the world for me to be a gamer. Yeah. I'm glad that it's helped you be able to take some of the edge off. It doesn't do that for me anymore, but let's go ahead and dive on into the first story. Larry's link, ladies and gentlemen, is in the video description. So Larry, something that's been hot on my channel the last 24 hours is Melania coming up to a microphone, running her mouth about she ain't no Epstein. She ain't have nothing to do with Epstein. And before we give the people this story, Larry, take a look at this. Does this look like you don't know Epstein?
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it. So, ladies and gentlemen,
it's funny when you look at that photo, right?
Oh, let me pull it back up.
If you look at that photo and you look at her body language, it looks like Giselle Maxwell, whatever her name is sort of looking off to the whatever. But even though Melania is looking straight at the camera, she seems like she's leaning more into Epstein than she is to Donald Trump. and that little body language, sort of betrays her as far as if she knew him or not, or at the very least, if she wanted to know him.
Yep. But ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you, living a double life is hard on the body. That was Melania like 20 years ago. Now look at her ass now. What the fuck? What horse did she rob? But anyway, let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at this.
This woman is threatening to expose Trump and Melania's connections to Epstein after her ex uses government ties to get her deported. Is this the story Melania was trying to get ahead of? Former Brazilian model Amanda Ungaro had been friends with the Trumps for years because of her ex-partner Paolo Zampoli, who now serves in the Trump admin as special envoy for global partnerships, and who introduced Melania to Trump in 1998. Zampoli was the owner of ID Models when Ungaro was signed to the agency at just 16 in 2002. That's when she says her agent, Jean-Luc Brunel, introduced her to Epstein, and she flew from Paris to New York on his Lolita Express with around 30 other young teens. That's also around when Zampoli and Ungaro's romantic relationship began. The couple split in 2023 after 2 decades together, and a bitter custody battle over their 16-year-old son ensued. But in June 2025, Zampoli used his government position to have her deported by ICE so he could gain custody of their son. She ended up in ICE detention for months after a long relationship where Ungaro says Zampoli abused her psychologically and physically. Now, after Melania's press conference denying Epstein ties, Ungaro's taken to X to threaten to expose everything she knows. I will tear down your corrupt system, even if it's the last thing I do in my life. Maybe you should be afraid of what I know, of who you are, and who your husband is.
So, Larry, like I said before we started this to you in the audience, why would Melania in the history of her life has never called a press conference nowhere? Not in her son's kindergarten school, not in the house in the cafeteria, not at lunch. She's not. I think, ladies and gentlemen, something is a brewing and is about to get dropped, and Melania is trying to get in front of it. So maybe this person is going to say something, maybe, but I kind of want to know, if you've got this kind of detrimental information on them, why haven't you said something already? Larry, what do you think is going on with this? Why did Melania call a press conference? Didn't even tell Trump about it. Do you think something is about to blow?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I think something's about to drop, and she's trying to get ahead of it and wants to sort of try and throw this little nugget of doubt into other people's minds, so that when it does drop, people will think it's just BS or some sort of left-wing propaganda or something. But it just seems really odd, like no one was talking about her with this, and maybe that's what she feels. Maybe she's just like, wait a minute, how come no one's talking about me? I want to be talked about. I don't know. It just seems really, really odd that she comes out of the blue with this and doesn't even consult, forget about her husband. Just what about the White House spin machine? I mean, because this is just bringing more attention. I mean, dude started a war to take the attention off of this, and here his wife comes putting all the attention right back on. So, yeah, I don't know what's happening here. It does seem very, very odd. But the thing that gets me is, we all know, we all see the truth. It's like she's trying to say, oh no, I'm not a victim. I didn't know Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, we went to the same parties. I mean, I'm calling 100% just straight up bullshit. I mean, and that's the thing that's so utterly ridiculous. You cannot sit up there and your husband and this man were best friends for like a decade and a half. And you're going to say that you don't know him, that you didn't know him, that you guys just happened to be invited to the same parties? I mean, that's just complete bullshit. I mean, my wife is not, she's not like buddy with my friends, but she knows them, the friends that I have spent time with. Like if I've gone to their house, or we've gone on vacation, or we've gone out to dinner with their family, she knows who those people are. She could not turn around and say, I don't really know him. No, you know him. You may not be best buddies with them, but you know him because you spend time with them. And it's just such complete and utter BS. It just didn't need to be said. She should have just kept her mouth shut and said nothing. But I'm assuming that there's something that she views as catastrophic that's about to drop. and it's probably, it's probably some crazy sex tape or some, maybe it's some documentation of, of payments being made to procure, Melania, so, I mean, the reality of it is people knew what they were getting when they voted for Trump, and they voted, they knew who she was. I mean, what other first lady could you imagine that has photos of her naked with some other woman? I mean, you're not, I know a lot of people say, oh, Michelle Obama was so this and so that. She was so esteemed. Forget just Michelle Obama. We get it. The Obamas were an exceptional married couple, an exceptional, human beings. What about the rest of them? Anyone, pick any president, and you will not find naked pictures of their wives running around floating on the internet, not naked with other women, not naked with other men. You're not going to hear any stories about Laura Bush being a hoe. You're not going to hear stories about Nancy Reagan, selling that ass. You're just not going to do it. You don't have to like those people. You can despise them for their politics and everything else, but you can't accuse them of being prostitutes. And Melania Trump has been that has been the thing that has followed her around either quietly or loudly for the entire time she has had any sort of public presence, is that she was a hoe. And I'm not talking about hoe as in, oh, I just like to go out to the club and get with random dudes. I'm talking about hoe as she was getting paid to do this, was her job. I mean, she came here on a genius visa, and because maybe she has that super monkey and no one else has what she has. And so maybe that was her genius, because, I mean, it doesn't seem like there's anything else about her that's spectacular. So
Larry, in response to, there was another survivor that came out and said something about Melania. Take a listen to this.
Hello, Melania Trump. My name is Juliet Bryant. I'm an Epstein survivor. You want girls to testify under oath. Well, here I am testifying that everything I've said is true. Unfortunately, a lot of the girls who testified died. Maybe it's about time that you and your husband testified too. Thank you.
Now, Larry, she was trying to say that if they testified, then maybe y'all will kick the bucket. That's kind of what she was alluding to. She ain't come out and say it, but she was also saying that every time one of these women come close to revealing the truth, something happens to them. Do you think that, Larry, do you think if we get a landslide in the midterms, and folks, it's looking like we could get that, because the very playbook that Republicans use to get their fascist dictator scheme together, Viktor Orban, a Hungary, got his ass beat last night by 14 points. And so do you think we're going to get somewhat of that same landslide in the midterms and start getting justice for these victims? And keep in mind, Larry, when Pam Bondi was in office, we were supposed to get all the Epstein files in December. Larry, we ain't even got 25% of it. What you think?
Yeah, I think that, I don't know if we're going to see all these files, because there's a lot of people, it seems like, that are on both sides of the aisle, and there's a lot of really moneyed up people that are in those files that don't want their names released or don't want any more.
Larry, for that reason, that's why we need their asses in jail. I'm telling you, Larry, we talked about this the last time. Why did so many Democrats that would normally vote Democrat jump to Trump? Because they know that their ass is compromised either with the Epstein files or they was in trouble with their businesses, and Trump was just like, you know what? I'm a con man. Y'all pay me. I'll get y'all out of trouble.
Yeah, the problem is, I agree that those people need to be in jail. The problem is people like that don't go to jail. They just don't. When you can afford to pay off witnesses, when you can afford to buy judges, you look at Clarence Thomas, he's a Supreme Court justice. He is bought and paid for. When you have enough money that you can buy all of the elements of the judicial system, from the police to the judges to the prosecutors, and
the opposition party. I mean, we got another reason that we don't get justice is because we got so many damn Democrats that are quote unquote centrists and moderates that take APAC money. We got to get rid of their asses too. Like, we got to get a clean sweep. If we want real justice, we've got a clean house. Clean.
I agree.
Like,
we need to change our campaign finance laws. If we've made it so that we got big money out of politics, and personally, I know people don't want this. I know these big corporations don't want this. I know the billionaires don't want this. I personally think we ought to go to a 100% publicly financed campaign system. That's it. 100%. We don't need to have 100%. Campaigns that are running that people are spending $2 billion or $1 trillion, whatever ridiculous amount it is that they're spending on their campaigns. It should be that there's publicly financed campaigns. There should be a standard that's set that says if you get this many percentage points in a state's primary, that you get on that state's, the states I guess would have to do that, but it should be basically like, as long as you are considered a legitimate candidate, if you've got enough percentage points, maybe nationwide, and maybe it's, I don't know, if something 5-10%, if you've gotten enough percentage points, then the federal government funds your campaign. And yes, it would be more challenging for people, because if you have 50 states and the government says, okay, everybody gets $100 million to finance your campaign, well, then guess what? You have to figure out how to make that work. And there should not be any more crazy PACs. You don't get to have these people who say, oh, we're not associated with the campaign, we're just buying airtime. No, that stuff should be illegal. It should be illegal. You know?
Big facts. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you think. Your boy is going to have to go in a few minutes, so I want to go ahead and get to there's two things I want to talk about before we get to about 9:35, which I got to get on another one of these calls. And I'm trying to figure out which one should I give to Larry first. We'll go with this one. Jon Ossoff, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people think he might run for president. Maybe he will. I don't know. I don't like the fact that he takes PAC money. And that's when I say that, people, I'm not saying that I'm not going to vote for him if I got to pick him against a fucking Republican. Okay, I'm not saying that. But I am saying I would love to see his ass primary by someone who doesn't take PAC money. But this is something he said that I thought was very telling about Trump and how so many of these quote unquote moderates, highfalutin Republicans, and MAGA just seem to let Trump get away with this. Take a look.
Now, I don't know if you saw, but the president apparently promised pardons for the entire White House staff. Did y'all see that? Which I guess is the kind of thing you do when you run the White House like a casino. Now, maybe the West Wing's too busy placing Kalshi and poly-market bets on the war to care, but Americans are getting hurt. Hurt by the illegal tariffs that send prices higher and higher, by skyrocketing health premiums, by $4 gas. Hurt by insurance companies that deny claims for needed care. Hurt by the hedge funds snatching up tens of thousands of homes across our state. Hurt by the data centers driving up power bills. And so when you're out there talking to folks over the next 6 months, remind them what the President of the United States said last week. Quote, "It's not possible," he said, "for us to take care of daycare, Medicaid, or Medicare." That's what the president said. He said we can only afford to fund war. And then 2 days later released his budget demanding we increase Pentagon spending to $1.5 trillion per year, paid for by ending the program that helps millions afford utility bills, by canceling affordable housing programs, and by cutting cancer research. All this just 1 year after they sent insurance premiums skyrocketing and gutted Medicaid to cut taxes for the rich. This is their answer to America's cost of living crisis. This is their answer to the Savannah nurse working a double shift whose utilities are about to get shut off. The Tift County farmer getting crushed by the trade war and now diesel and now fertilizer. The family in College Park skipping doctor's visits because premiums are just too high. In Donald Trump's America, the rich get tax cuts, the well-connected get stock tips, and everybody else makes sacrifices. But Americans have seen through this scam, and it's up to Georgia Democrats to end it. Are you ready to win, Georgia Democrats?
Larry, a lot of what pretty much everything he said is true, but the problem is what I always contend, the stupidity, the uneducatedness of the American people and the hatred of some of the American people. There are people who know that they're hurting themselves, but they're comfortable hurting themselves to see people like me and you not thrive. There are people who know good and damn well, Larry, that this American capitalist system that we have, it's a big circle. It's a wheel. And that wheel can only go in a circle based on the people that are in it. And in order for that wheel to thrive, everybody is supposed to be making gains in that wheel. But here's the problem. Over the last 20 years, all the gains in that wheel, Larry, have gone from the bottom up to the top. And we were sold a bill of goods that would trickle back down, which was always a lie in the first place. And then we was told, Larry, we was told by those people at the top that are going to do the trickling, you should hate socialism. If anybody says the word socialism, hate it. And you know why they would say that shit, Larry? Because they are the biggest provocateurs of using fucking socialism. They are the biggest provocateurs of taking socialism. While they tell you and me, or the man who's making $50,000, you shouldn't get no services. You should just pray to God. He's going to take care of you. Their asses is the biggest greedy apparatuses on earth, sucking down as much money as the government will allow them to socialize of everybody's money. And then they get to capitalize on the gains. And for those of you who are sitting in the cheap seats and might not have an understanding of what I'm saying, let me say it as an 8th grader. They are telling you that the same money that everybody in the house is supposed to be using, that you should get 25 cents while they take $100. And then they try to couch it as, we're using it for something better than what you can use it for. And what they forget to tell you, dumbasses, is this. When they get that money, they then in turn get to say that because all this money is in the marketplace, we have to add inflation. Do you understand how that helps them then? They get their hands on the money first. Then they get to say, because there's more money out there, we need to inflate the dollars, which means the price of goods go up. What your dollar spends now is less than what it was before that money got out there. So in turn, they're getting the extra money that you're paying for the inflated dollars, not to mention they got the money up front. And then on the back end, ladies and gentlemen, they get a tax cut. And who pays for that tax cut? Your same dumbass that is running around talking about in the name of Jesus, that's running around talking about I love Trump, that's running around here saying that the welfare queen is the one who's robbing the American people, when it has never, ever been that. Floor is yours, Larry.
Yeah, it's I think that people don't realize how much corporate welfare is given out in this country. I mean, it is astronomical. I mean, from just the government is flat out giving corporations money to fund different stuff, to setting up a tax system that makes it so they basically pay no taxes, to probably the biggest government subsidy of all, which is our U.S. military. So much of what our U.S. military does is to provide security for corporations, for American corporations operating overseas. They go over there and they fight and they secure areas so that U.S. companies can operate in other countries. and maintain bases so that those conditions can continue to exist. Because the reality of it is, the United States has not been invaded since World War II. And our mainland has not been invaded by a foreign country since, I don't know, what was it, the War of 1812 or something against Mexico or whatever it is. I mean, when we did this whole manifest destiny thing, the whole thing is from sea to shining sea, and below us is Mexico, above us is Canada. Both of them are allies. You know, Hawaii is surrounded by the Pacific Ocean, so it's not like someone could just march across their borders. And then you have Alaska that's sitting right there next to Russia. You're going to have to go through you're going to have to go through Russia and all that snow and everything to get to Alaska. We have not been invaded. We don't need the level of our military that we currently have, you know, and the idea that we need to increase our military budget is really just another corporate welfare scam to funnel money over into these companies that are part of the military industrial complex. So you can send it over to Base Systems, to Dynacorp, to General Dynamics, to Boeing, all these companies that make weapons and weapon systems and radar systems and planes and trains and tanks and everything else, you know, the Halliburton, all of them. It is just another corporate scam to funnel U.S. tax dollars into the pockets of people who run companies that are part of the military-industrial complex. I mean,
corporate socialism, ladies and gentlemen, corporate socialism.
Every time when this happens, I'm left thinking to myself, when I hear about the things that people do for money and the things that rich people are doing, these corporations, I'm like, how much more money do you need? You have so much that you can't spend it ever. There's nothing that you can't buy. You can buy houses, all the houses you want. You can buy all the cars you want. You can buy all the yachts you want. You can buy people basically now. They're buying people. I mean, there's nothing that you can't have. So why is it that you want more money? I mean, find something else to want. Find something else to do. I mean, just screwing over the American people to get more and more and more of the same. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It does not make a lick of sense.
It makes sense to them, Larry, because that's what drives them. It drives them to be, well, first of all, the money helps them get the power. And the power usually equals money. So the two run hand in hand. And when people get to the point where they've got so much money to take care of themselves, then they want to start spending money on legacy bullshit, like Trump trying to put his name on all the money, trying to put his name on statues. And they start feeling this God complex with their ego. And to ease,
right, but they have enough money to do that already. I mean,
that's the problem.
At some point, you just reach a point of diminishing returns. You can do all of the good deeds or evil deeds.
It doesn't.
You're not going to gain any more power.
It doesn't for them. It doesn't.
There's no more power to gain.
It doesn't for them. It does not. It does not do it for them. It just doesn't. And then they like to ease their conscience by donating to charities, when at the end of the day, Larry, if they wasn't getting a tax break for donating, how many of their damn asses you think would be donating?
Probably not many.
Definitely not many.
But the reality of it is, a lot of the charities that they're donating to are just because of conditions that they have created with all of their corporate lobbying, with all their lobbying and everything else. I mean, if we had a proper healthcare system in this country, we wouldn't need people donating all this money so people can get free or reduced medical treatment or free or reduced drugs. If we had proper housing in this country where people were hedge funds and corporations weren't allowed to go in and buy up entire neighborhoods at reduced prices. I mean, you have hedge funds that are cutting deals with home builders, and they can go into an area where a home may cost $400,000 or $500,000 or $600,000, and these home builders are cutting these hedge funds deals where they're selling them the homes at $150,000 a piece, and then they turn around And the people say, oh, well, this home is worth $600,000, and so the rent is $4,000 a month. And people are like, I can't afford that, you know? And people are up there. I mean, I forgot what the number is, but I think it's something like 20%, 25%. There's a certain point where economists say you should not spend more than this amount of your monthly income on mortgage or rent. And we are like double that amount now. And you have a younger generation who has given up on what we thought of as the American dream, whereas you go to school, you get good grades, you go to college, or you come out of high school and get a trade, you get a job, you save for a few years, you buy a home, and that allows you to have a sense of security and ownership in this American experiment. You can have kids, and they talk about the declining birth rate. Part of the reason why the declining birth rate exists is because people don't feel safe and secure. People feel constantly there's a financial weight on them, that they're constantly being dragged down. I mean, for so many people, you have a I think it was something, I forgot what the number is that I heard somebody speak, but they were saying how many percentage of the US population is living paycheck to paycheck, and something as simple as a flat tire would financially devastate people, you know? I mean, and I know some people try and look at things like, I feel like my wife and I are very lucky. We got good financial advice, you know, years ago, early in our marriage, and we started saving money. So we had an emergency fund, but we did that also partly because we were frugal and made sacrifices, but also because we're both educated and have master's degrees and have jobs that pay us a decent living. My wife way more than I do, but we were able to do that. A lot of people don't have those options, you know, or they just don't make as much, and therefore, plus we don't have any kids. So if you have 2 or 3 kids and you're making $150,000 a year, you may not have the ability to save up, you know, 6 months worth of your expenses. You know, you may not have that option. And so this, you know, the idea that these corporations are saying people just need to work harder, people just need to do more, while they're up there taking tax break after tax break after tax break and screwing us over, it's just ridiculous. I mean, it is. And ladies and gentlemen, they want people to have more kids. How are you going to have more kids if you feel like you're broke? How are you going to tell young people have kids when they don't even feel that they can take care of themselves? That was the other thing I was going to cover, ladies and gentlemen, but your boy got to get ready to go. If you love what me and Larry have to say, just let us know in the comments. We'll definitely come back. His link is in the video description. If you want to get more of me, I will be going live tomorrow. This is my stock channel. I've been going live every day the last 3 weeks. And so far, folks, I'm on a 75-day green streak every single day. So come check me out at 9:30 tomorrow. I'm going to get back up with Larry to see if he can come back, and we might can do something on Thursday, because y'all was starting to pile in right when we've got to pile out. Man, I was hoping we were going to talk about Representative Swalwell, you know?
I want to, man, but I gotta go. I gotta get on a call. So you guys let us know what you think. Please share, like, comment. Don't forget to subscribe, because YouTube has been trying to throttle your boy. So hopefully y'all have gotten the wake up call and they're coming back. Till that next Sex is Hell video, me and the man, we out.
I'm up early for the dealers come out. Everybody is outside till the killers come out. You ain't eating, you just act full. I'm impactful. Dozen funerals in a month. I got that pull. I will give it to niggas in all rap forms. Ignatius out right now on all platforms.